Hello, I'm Rob McNeilly, and just to let you know that I was in medical practice in Melbourne, Australia for 10 years. Became interested in hypnosis as a way of helping to connect people with their resources, with their solutions. And I had the good fortune and privilege of learning with Milton Erickson in the last few years of his life. And what I learned from him and from my time with him was a quantum leap from what I had previously been doing. Instead of using hypnosis as a power over someone where I'm going to do this to you and so on, I'm going to control you, I learned from Erickson that hypnosis can be a special form of communication, so that when we can help to connect with someone in a respectful, trusting, expectant kind of way, then people who have a problem and they feel constricted and limited by what's happening begin to find connections with more of their own innate resourcefulness. And it was such a beautiful awakening for me. So I started to bring this approach into my work, into my clinical work, and I was so enthusiastic about it that it would make such a difference to the people I was working with that I began to share it with other people, to teach this, to offer this for other people who are interested. And I've had the pleasure and joy really of sharing this approach with people from many different parts of the world, from Ericksonian conferences in the US, to Brazil, to Tokyo, to Czech Republic, Singapore, Scandinavia and Finland and Copenhagen, and also with England in Bristol, Birmingham and London. And I've also noticed that there's been an increasing tendency for people to, I guess partly because of the busy life that we lead, to have an interest in learning in an online environment. And at first I thought, how can anyone learn something that what used to be called high touch? How can anyone learn the experience that's part of learning the use of hypnosis? But it turns out that because of the structure of an online course, it allows the opportunity to look at a demonstration, to read some notes, to listen to some audios, and unlike a live workshop where if you miss something, it's gone, in an online environment you can go back, review, revisit, refresh, and do that any time in the future. So it turns out that the online environment has been shown to be a more effective way of learning. And in fact, people who have learned hypnosis in an online environment find that they feel more confident to bring what they've learned into their clinical practice. So an online environment, although I'd still teach face-to-face workshops, the online environment seems to me to be where the future of learning is. So I've put together some programs. And in the hypnosis thread, you'll see below a link where you can explore the free 4-week video program. And in this program I put together just over 20 short video lectures where it's an introduction to the principle and to some of the practices of this, so that when you look at these you can get a hint of it, a sense of it, and then begin to include it in your practice. And I'm mindful of Ashley Brilliant's saying all he ever wants from life is a bit more than he'll ever get. And so if anyone is interested in learning more, there is a 4, 5, 6 week program that I've called Easy Hypnosis. And in this program, there is more detailed demonstrations, notes, as well as a series of video calls where we have a chance to interact and meet personally. And I've had the pleasure of speaking and meeting and sharing this learning with people from all over the world, from Greenland, from Spain, France, just remarkable, the US and different parts of Australia, of course. It's remarkable how useful it is to have this video connection with people so that we can see who we're learning with. And as an extension of that, someone who's interested to learn in more depth, to have more texture about their experience, I've created a 6-month, more in-depth version of this, where we will actually have about 20 2-hour video calls in which we can not only talk about cases and what we're learning and the application of that, but also so that I can do a demonstration of how the different components might look, how they might be. And the marvelous thing about this is that there is an opportunity, it might seem strange, but an opportunity to have breakout rooms so that people in the program can be with one other person, so you can practice in pairs and you can play with this, see how it works, and then come back to the larger group and we can discuss what's happened. And it's just remarkable to have someone from Greenland practice with someone in South Carolina, someone in Sydney, Australia, practicing with someone in Spain. And it works so beautifully. And this actual practical application and the practical personal experience is a major benefit to the learning process of hypnosis itself. And for those who are crazy enough to want even more than that, there's a series of videos that I'm called Towards Excellence. Scott Miller's work has inspired me to look beyond any particular technique and see what kinds of learning is going to be relevant to any of us, no matter what therapy we're using. And there are certain topics that I've found to be pivotal, to be really perennially useful to any therapist. And these include listening. How do we listen to people? What are we listening for? How to generate a mood of expectancy. Whenever anyone has a problem, there's a mood of resignation, like, oh, I'm stuck here. How can we generate expectancy? So there's then the possibility of something possible actually happening. How to generate and restore genuine trust. Such an important issue. And the other topics including self-care. If we don't take care of ourselves in the process and we start to suffer, we're not going to be so useful to clients. So there's a series of videos about that as an introduction for people who are interested. And again, if someone is crazy enough to want to, or wise enough to want to learn even more, there is a 10-month program with 40 video calls, each of 2 hours, where again we can play with all of this in an interactive way. So I invite you, if you're interested, to have a look at any of the programs that are there. They're listed down below. Have a look and see whether that's of interest to you. And if there's any question or any comment, please be in touch with me. And I wanted to just let you know about this in case there's something that you can find useful for your learning. In any of the paid programs, I offer a complete 100% no questions asked guaranteed for the duration of the program, so that you can get at the end of a 10-month program and say, no, I didn't like this, get a refund, no problem. But so this is an opportunity for you to look, to explore, to see what might be useful for you. And it would be a pleasure to have your company in any of these. I'm finding them, and other people are telling me, delightful opportunities to learn together in a safe, trusting environment where we can play and learn in an experiential way. So if you're interested to explore, have a look, and if you decide that you want to join us, that would be a pleasure. Thanks for listening to this and watching.